You know how it is. You're just scrolling through your feed, and bam! You're hit with all this fitness advice, these crazy workout challenges, and diets that promise the world. But how much of that is actually legit, and how much of it could be, well, hurting you? In this explainer, we're going to cut through all that noise and separate the solid facts from the epic fails.
And yeah, that's a serious question. I mean, is your social media feed dangerous? That influencer with millions of followers, they might look like they know what they're doing, but behind those super polished videos, there are often some pretty big risks. Risks that could totally derail your progress, or even worse, get you seriously injured.
So here's the real problem, right? People making this content get rewarded for clicks and views, not for giving safe, effective advice. And what that leads to is a ton of videos showing off stuff like ego lifting, where the amount of weight is way more important than proper form, and these pointless exercise variations that might look cool, but do absolutely nothing for you.
To put it bluntly, some of this stuff is just plain dangerous. When a fitness expert like RJ was asked what he thought about a viral 7-day no-food challenge, he had just one word for it: stupidity. And that's the level of risk we're talking about here. It really shows you why knowing the fundamentals is so important. Okay, so let's dive in. Here's how we're going to break this all down. First, we'll look at the biggest viral fails. Then we'll talk about ego lifting versus training that actually works. After that, we'll decode some diet myths, get into supplements, and then pull it all together to talk about your long-term health.
So let's kick things off with what you're probably seeing all over your feed: viral fitness fails. These are those trends that rack up millions of views but can have some seriously dangerous outcomes.
The biggest offenders? For sure it's ego lifting, sacrificing your form just to lift heavier weight, and those pointless variations on good old standard exercises. But honestly, it gets worse. You see people totally ignoring safety features on gym equipment, and that can lead to some crazy accidents. There was one viral clip where a whole leg press machine flipped over on someone because it wasn't even bolted to the floor. Wild. So how do we avoid falling into these traps? Well, that brings us right to our next section, a much smarter way to train, one that's focused on real results, not just getting views online.
And this slide really says it all, doesn't it? On one side, you've got ego lifting, super high risk of injury, it stalls your progress, and it's all about the number on the dumbbell. But on the other side, you've got efficacious training. It's all about safety, building a solid foundation, and really feeling that mind-muscle connection. One is just a recipe for disaster, the other is the blueprint for real, lasting success.
And here's a perfect example. You see these viral videos of people doing these insane jumps on gym machines trying to look explosive? The expert advice? Look, if you want true explosiveness, stick to bodyweight exercises like box jumps. They are way safer, they're more effective, and you're using equipment for what it was actually designed for.
All right, we've talked enough about the gym. Now let's head into the kitchen, because that is another place where misinformation is just running wild online.
Let's talk about the humble potato. Oh man, the potato gets such a bad rap, always demonized as this unhealthy food to avoid. But the reality? Potatoes are just a fast-digesting source of carbohydrates. They're fuel. The only time they become a problem is when you eat them in huge amounts. But that's true for, anything. It's about balance, not just cutting things out completely.
Now, let's get back to those really extreme challenges, like not eating for a whole week. Here's what's actually happening to your body. First, you lose a bunch of water weight, which tricks you into thinking you're making amazing progress. Then your body starts breaking down your hard-earned muscle for energy. And finally, your brain, which is just starved of fuel, starts to suffer. We're talking cognitive impairment. It's not healthy. It's just plain harmful.
And hey, here's a quick tip for you. Stop stressing about slamming a protein shake the second your workout ends. I mean, it's fine if you do, but the truth is, protein timing is pretty flexible. The most important thing is getting enough protein throughout your entire day. So really, relax and have it whenever it works best for you. All right, next up, let's try to make sense of the super confusing world of supplements and connect it all to what should be the biggest goal for everyone: sustainable, long-term health.
We've all been there, right? You're standing in the store looking at 2 bottles of multivitamins. One costs $5, the other costs $30. Why? What is the huge price difference all about? Is it just slick marketing, or is there something real going on?
Well, to understand this, the expert RJ has this absolutely brilliant analogy. Think of your body as someone riding a motorcycle, and the supplement you're taking is your helmet.
This slide makes it so simple to understand. A cheap helmet might look like a helmet, but in a real crash, it's gonna fail. A premium helmet, on the other hand, gives you real protection. Well, it's the exact same thing with supplements.
The cheaper ones often use lower quality raw materials. Think less pure ingredients that your body might not even be able to absorb properly. The premium ones actually protect your body's systems because they're more bioavailable. So you're not just paying for a brand name, you're paying for ingredients that actually work.
And this whole philosophy of protecting your body, it extends way beyond just supplements. It's about how you build your physique. For lifelong health, the advice is crystal clear: stay natural. That means avoiding steroids and other performance-enhancing drugs to protect your organs and your hormonal balance for the long haul. And it definitely means staying away from dangerous junk like synthol, which is literally an oil people inject to fake the appearance of muscle. The goal here is to be healthy for decades, not just to look a certain way for a year or two.
So, after going through all that, what's the bottom line? What's the ultimate takeaway? How do you actually navigate this crazy world and build a truly healthy life? It really just boils down to a few simple guiding principles. Always put your safety before some social media trend. Focus on habits that are sustainable for the long run. Ask yourself why you're even doing a particular exercise. And remember that good nutrition is all about balance and fuel, not about extreme restriction.
So, we'll leave you with this final thought. The next time you see some new viral fitness trend and you're tempted to try it, just pause for a second and ask yourself one simple question. Does this actually support my long-term health and safety? Your answer to that question will tell you everything you need to know.